Moving on to a final race now, and that is the Giro d'Italia, cycling here with Ian O'Sullivan at Cycling Betting. I will bring on the show. Hello, Ian. How are you doing?
Very good, Natalie. And you?
Very, very well, thank you. I spoke to you a couple of days ago and you said this is when it all starts to get exciting, and exciting it is. The Giro d'Italia, obviously, before we head on over to the Tour de France. How's it all going?
Well, it's we're nearly 2 weeks into the race, but really the race is only livened up in the last 2 days, yesterday and today. The first sort of 6, 7, 8, 9 stages were fairly nondescript, a lot of sprint stages. The only major drama that came out of it really was that our pre-race pick and second favourite, Tom Dumoulin, crashed out on the 4th stage. So that was a bit of bad luck that neither he nor I was expecting. He got a very nasty gash just above his knee from a chainring. So spikes of a chainring went into his leg, and he was forced to abandon. So that was the major sort of drama in the first week. We had lots of sprints that were sort of spread around between different riders. But thanks to a very, very strong time trial on the first day and a very strong time trial last Sunday when he won the stage, Primoz Roglic, who was the pre-race favourite, is now in pole position and is odds on to take the race. He actually sits about 2 and a bit minutes behind a guy named Jan Polans, but he's not too worried about him. He took the jersey basically because of a long breakaway yesterday where he gained a lot of time, and he's jumped above Roglic in the GC. But give it another day or two and Roglic will have passed back over him again, because Polans won't be able to stay with him on the big mountains probably.
Yeah. Obviously, we're in stage 13 today, and we've got stage 14 tomorrow. What are you looking at? Have you been able to have a look at what you're looking at to bet tomorrow?
Tomorrow's going to be a great stage. I think we've got a summit finish, a very difficult last final climb, but there's also quite a few difficult climbs in the middle. It's a short stage. It's only 131 kilometers, so I think it'll be, as they say, balls out racing from the very start tomorrow. There's a lot of guys who want to make up time on Roglic. There's been a bit of shadow boxing with Roglic and Nibali today, but the likes of Mollema, Landa, guys all around them, they went on the offensive today. Zakarin took back 2 minutes or something, has leapt into third in the GC. I won't be surprised if we get all-out attack from a lot of the other guys tomorrow as well. Roglic will be on the defensive again. I see Landa has been installed I think 3-1 favourite for tomorrow. The guy who I picked to win today's stage, actually, Miguel Angel Lopez, he got his chain caught and snagged his chain right when the race was kicking off with about 10 kilometres to go, 8 kilometres to go, something like this. And he had to stop and get the chain out from within his chain ring, and lost 30-40 seconds and couldn't regain the leader. So that was very, very disappointing, because I think he'd have done very well today. He might not have been able to catch Zakarin because he had quite a good lead, but he's second favourite for tomorrow. I think he'll be full of the desire to try and make up for the wrongs of today, and he looks very suited to this finish. Landa, I think, will be going for it again. He's chipping away trying to make back time. He lost a lot of time in the time trials. He was minutes and minutes back, but he took some time back today. I think he'll keep wanting to chip away at time, taking 30-40 seconds here and there. There's some big stages to come. Stage 16 on Tuesday is going to be a monster. They're going over the Passo Gavia, which is the highest pass in the race, and the Mortarolo, which is a climb later on the stage, but actually it's a climb that Landa has done a few times before and won a stage in the past which passed over the Mortarolo, and he has said it's one of his favourite climbs. So I think he'll be going ballistic on Tuesday. He probably will be on the attack tomorrow, but I quite fancy, I think I'm going to stick with Miguel Angel Lopez again tomorrow. I think he's about 4-1, just over 4-1, 17-4, something like that. I just think that Astana are very strong. He'll be out for revenge tomorrow, and he might be able to. What I can see happening maybe is him and Landa attacking, going together. They did this a few days ago. They attacked together, and if the two of them come to the finish together, Lopez will outsprint Landa. Landa just doesn't have a sprint on him. So if you're going to take a pick between the two of them, I think maybe Lopez would be the bet. And then looking at the overall, you've got just not a few days ago, Roglic was 8-15 or something like this, 4-7 to win overall. He's something like 10-11 tonight, as the pack have started to come back at him. You know, I think a few days ago, not a lot of people expected Zakarin, Mollema, Micah to be making up time kind of randomly out of stages that they didn't expect people to make up time. But they're right back in the hunt. Nibali is behind him. I think Nibali is something like second favourite. But to be honest, I can't see Nibali doing a Landa or a Zakarin and going out there and attacking and making up the minute and a half that he needs to make up. And he'll actually need to make up more than that, because the last stage of the race is another time trial, and Roglic will probably take another 30 seconds out of him. So I think Nibali will need 2 minutes probably, and I can't see where Nibali, you know, for the last 2 days, Roglic has literally been sitting in his back pocket. Every time Nibali looked around, Roglic was there, and it came to a point where in a post-race interview today after the stage, Nibali said, you know, is he going to follow me all the way home to my living room? If he does, I can show him my trophies. He's getting, you know, quite ticked off with Roglic just marking him. But in doing so, Roglic is sort of ignoring all the other guys who are now getting a lot closer to him and opening up the race. So I'd rather be on Landa at 11-2 each way, maybe. You know, I think he'll keep chipping away. It could be one of those days soon where he makes up a minute and he'll get into the top three. And you know, Zakarin is in a great position at the moment. He's 16-1 still. He's third in the GC. Well, effectively second, you could say, because Palance is going to fall away. You know, and he could make up time in the next few days. And 16-1 looks a big price for a guy who's, you know, several minutes ahead of some of the guys who are 4-1, 6-1 ahead of him. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting week. We've got, you know, stage 18 is about the only stage really that's for the sprinters. The final stage is a time trial next Sunday, but in between that, there's every stage nearly could be a stage where the challengers would be putting it up to Roglic.
And obviously, Primož Roglic, he's obviously the favourite right now to win the Giro d'Italia. Would you say the value's gone, priced at 2? And who is most likely to stop him?
Yeah, well, I was actually laying him a few days ago at sort of 4-7, that kind of price. I thought he was too short at the time, especially when we were seeing just yesterday, actually, I got stuck into him as well during the stage, because his team, which was a fear before the competition started, was one of the reasons why I put Dumoulin up as a stronger pick, I felt, than Roglic. People were worried about his team not being good enough in the mountains. And yesterday we saw, as soon as a bit of pressure came on the front, the whole team disappeared. Roglic. He was isolated with a long way to go. Similar thing happened today. Astana came to the front, Movistar came to the front, and all of a sudden Roglic was on his own again. If that happens day after day after day, he can't keep chasing down every attack that goes. And if he does, he'll be exhausted come the end of next week when he mightn't be able to go with some attack and suddenly loses several minutes. So, but on the flip side of that, he has handled everything that's been thrown at him so far on his own. You know, he was following Nibali today. He was looking around at Nibali. Nibali got frustrated. And then suddenly Roglic, when he saw Lopez coming up from behind him after his mechanical, he just took off. He accelerated all of a sudden. And by the time they got to the finish, only about 4K later, he had put a minute between him and Lopez again, when Lopez was literally 20 meters behind him before he took off. So Roglic was following, he's defending, but he still showed that he's got a lot of power still left in the legs. Is he value at evens? I don't think so. You know, I think it's hard to pick. As I said, I wouldn't be backing Nibali. As I said, I can't see him making up the time. Richard Carapaz is looking fantastic. He's looking really strong. He's 6-1. The problem there is that you've got team hierarchy and team orders, basically, because Mikel Landa is his team leader. And he's probably going to have to sacrifice his chances to try and get Landa. And you see Landa is 11-2, Carapaz is 6-1. So, you know, even though Carapaz is ahead of him in the GC at the moment, it looks like people are expecting Landa to take off someday. Carapaz does the marking behind, and Landa gains the time to maybe move up in the GC. So from that point of view, I mean, the GC is a very difficult one to call. As I said, Zakarin might offer a bit of value each way because he's 16-1. But, you know, I'm just looking here at Bet365 at the moment. They're offering win only. So I'm not sure what the other bookies are doing. The prices, you know, they come up every night after every stage. They revise the prices based on what's happened. Some of the bookies might not be up yet tonight. A lot of them just follow Bet365 anyway, so their odds compilers are probably looking at what Bet365 did right now and trying to, you know, mirror that and reflect it in some way. So some of the others might go each way. You might be able to get something on Zakarin, but you know, I'm more interested actually maybe in the King of the Mountains, because Mikel Landa, he's something like 4-1 second favourite. I've been backing him at 8-1, 9-1, 10-1. I didn't expect him to make such a leap up the GC all of a sudden. I was kind of hoping that he would maybe stay far enough back that he would go after the King of Mountains competition. But by virtue now of the fact that he's in the GC hunt and he might go on the attack over the Gavia and the Mortarola, etc., there's big points available for those. I think it's something like 60 points for the Gavia and 40 points for the Mortarola. That one stage alone, if he leads over the two of those, will be 100 points. I think he's what they call it, a bet to nothing at 4-1 each way. I think he will probably finish in the top three by the virtue of the points he's going to pick up over the next few days. If he wins or comes second tomorrow on the stage, he's going to get another bunch of points. So I think he'll move up the ranking. And at 4-1, he's one of these bet to nothing each way. You might get your money back, and if he does really well, you'll have the 4-1 winner as well.
All right, fantastic stuff. Ian's providing daily articles for us detailing each stage, players to look out for, and recommended bets as well over at oddsmarket.com. So do go check that out every single day, headed into the Tour de France. Ian O'Sullivan, great to catch up with you. Hopefully we'll speak to you next week, see how everything's doing. Have a wonderful weekend.